Yes, yes. Hi, Aaron. Okay, so well, SocaLoca is basically a digital platform that looks at democratizing the football landscape, especially for players in the grassroots level, and especially for what I would call um, ecosystems or football ecosystems which are underdeveloped. And you can find these in most, I would say, developing football nations, right? So it's our attempt to kind of create a digital ecosystem where one can come onto the platform, they can track their career, they can have a profile, and from there get connected into the local football scene. And if they are good and visible, they can move into the next level and beyond. So that is what SocaLoca is basically. It's trying to connect all football ecosystem players, from the player to teams to coaches to tournament organizers, academies, scouts, clubs, and everything, basically trying to get everybody on a single platform and interact, right? So that's SocaLoca in a nutshell.
And in terms of the platform, how does that work? How do people access the platform?
Okay, so it's an app, it's a mobile app, and you can download it on your iPhone or on your Android phone, right? Just go to the respective app store, Play Store, type in SocaLoca, and you can download it straight away and create a profile. And it's available worldwide, right? There's no restriction to it. When you download, you automatically see the ecosystem within your country. So, for example, if you are in the UK, right, you will see the teams and players and tournaments that's happening in the United Kingdom, right? But what we find really, really interesting is that if you want to see what's going on next door in France, you just kind of change your country setting to France, and you can see what's going on there. We also have a feed, right? A social feed, and this one we don't restrict to nations, right? So you can actually see what's going on in other countries. So players posting from all over the world about their footballing experiences and who they're playing and the trainings and pictures and videos, right? So it's a very focused football-based feed. So you think of it like an Instagram for football. Right, and we find this very interesting because I'm based in Asia, in Malaysia, and we have a lot of users from Africa now, and I get to see kids who are playing in Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, and they're posting up their pictures, and it's really interesting because what we think is normal in our country is not the norm in others. So that's I think already a kind of benefit that we have. You can really look at what's going on in other countries. Right?
And so why was it developed? What was the need? What was the need that you spotted to develop the app?
Okay, so to kind of explain that, right, I need to kind of go back into my background, right? So first of all, I think like you, I'm one of the millions of people who had a football dream that never realized. I think most of us are like that, right?
Two left feet.
When you're a kid, you have dreams of playing for a big club and having a football career, yeah. And at one point you realize that you can't. It's not possible for you, and you pivot, right, and you go on with life. Now, for me, I think, and for a lot of people, right, in this part of the world, right, in Asia, Africa, and what I call the underdeveloped countries, the opportunities to really develop or fulfill our potential were never there, right? I think I'd like to think in Europe, if you're a good player and you have talent, the system will pick you up, right? But I think in less developed countries, the nature of football associations, they kind of focus on the elite, right? And this is kind of an experience that I had. So I worked in the Football Association of Malaysia for 3 years. So I'm a former football administrator, right? And what I realized was that for countries, the smaller countries, the focus of the National Association is always on the elite side, right? On the top league and the national team, because the people demand this. And it's not a problem, it's not the fault of the association that they don't have a focus on youth or on grassroots. It's just that the priority is always to try and get the national team playing better, and that's what the public demands, right? And usually for football associations, once the national team is established, then they can kind of, okay, let's look at the grassroots, right? So I think a lot of countries are stuck in this point where national associations are more focused on the top side of the footballing pyramid, and nobody's looking at the bottom side. And my experiences as a football administrator, and as I mentioned to you, a player who had dreams that never made it, right? Kind of thought, what if we could do something about this, right? What if we could have an app that, even if you're an amateur player, you can come on and kind of build your profile and track your career, right? But at the same time, the app helps to organize the grassroots scene, right? So what I realized in my time as an administrator is that there's three key, I would say, elements in developing football in a nation, right? One is the passion, the level of passion. Secondly is the level of infrastructure. And thirdly is the level of organization, right? So what I noticed is that in Europe, for example, all three are very high, right? There's a high passion, great infrastructure, and great organization. That's why Europe is always ahead in terms of creating players and the quality of players, right? But in other countries, in Asia, for example, we have a lot of passion, right? But the infrastructure isn't so good and the organization isn't that good, right? I think it's the same for most African nations as well, right? Very, very passionate, right? Lack of infrastructure, lack of organization at the grassroots level. And what SocaLoca tries to address is this matter of organization, right? If the app helps people in the grassroots side, or the lower side of the pyramid, to self-organize themselves, meaning that, if I'm an amateur player or an aspiring player, and I play 20 or 30 matches a year, and these matches can be logged onto a platform, right? Then, and organized or seen on a single platform, it helps with the organization, right? And if all footballing activity is captured, right, therefore you kind of organize better. And with this organization comes opportunity, right? So that was the thought behind SocaLoca, right? Which is, one, allow the player to build a profile, but secondly, provide a tool where teams and amateur teams and what we call local tournament organizers, right, can use a tool to organize tournaments, to organize their matches and keep these matches on record, right? And not only the matches recorded in terms of the score, right? We record who plays, we record all the statistics like a professional match, right? So if you go onto the platform and you have, for example, Aaron, you have a team and I have a team, right? And we play, we can actually log our results and say, Team Aaron played Team Sayf, and the score was 3-1, and I scored the hat trick, right? And these are the people who played, right? And we could even upload videos and upload photos, and that data is never lost, right? And for me, even if I don't make it in my footballing career, it's something I can look back on, right? But the data is there, right? So that's what we're trying to do with SocaLoca, and hopefully people who have a passion for football, and regardless if you're a young player trying to make it, or even if you're a veteran player. I play a bit of veteran football. I actually would like to know, in the latter stages of my career, how many games I played this year, and who I played, and what were the scores, right? So it's a kind of tool for everybody in football, right? But what we're trying to do is create opportunities for the younger players.
Yeah, and in terms of that data that's been inputted onto the app, are the players responsible for that information themselves in terms of their own personal stats, and in terms of the content for tournaments, etc.? Who's building the data that goes into that? Who's inputting it, and how's it stored, and how's it disseminated amongst the app and the users?
Okay, good question. So our approach is what we call a self-service approach, right? Now there's a lot of systems out there. When I was in the association, the FA, right, where they pass us a system and we have to key in everything, right? That won't work ultimately because there's so much going on. So self-service means that every player registers on their own, on themselves into SocaLoca because there's a benefit for them. Right. Now, once players are on, right, you create teams. So if I'm an amateur team, I can create my own team on the platform, and you can create your team. And when we play a match, like I mentioned before, we can create that match and have that match and put all the details, right? So that's the first level, right? The second level is getting tournament organizers on board, right? So all over the world, I think matches and tournaments are what I call the Lego bricks of football, right? It happens everywhere, but in different forms, right? In Malaysia, you know, we have structured leagues. I've been around in other countries. They have pickup leagues, right? You just come and you play, and stuff happens. In Brazil, for example, you have barbecue leagues, right? People come over a barbecue and they play the whole day. So what we're trying to do is kind of have this piece of technology where you can register as a tournament organizer. There's a whole console that we've built, right? A web-based console, and you can create a league or any type of tournament with any type of structure. We've really made it really simple, right? And you can create the league in the app. You will see the league coming out in the tournament section, and teams can actually join, right? And once these teams join, these teams are made of the individual players that I mentioned just now, right? And when the tournament goes on, the tournament organizer updates all the information, right? So before this, most tournament organizers, this is all on WhatsApp. You know, you have a massive group and everybody WhatsApps everybody. You know, this is the league tables and whatnot. But we've kind of taken and automated all of this, right? So as soon as a match is played, the tournament organizer keys in the results, puts in the scorers, yellow card, red card, man of the match, videos, right? Submits it. The table is automatically updated, right? The stats, you know, top scorer, top assist, red card, yellow card is all automatically updated. The fixtures list is you know, the tournament organizer can what we call organize as you go, because amateur tournaments, you know, you don't really know when. You can probably plan 2 matches in advance rather than 7 matches. So we generate the fixture list, but we don't specify the time and date and venue. So you can update that as you go, right? So it's a very easy tool for tournament organizers to use, right? And when we piloted the first version of the app, once a player plays in a tournament that uses SocaLoca, they demand, if they play in another tournament, they actually demand the tournament organizer, please use this software, because, you know, as soon as I play, I can look at everything. I can see where my match is. I can see the results and between players. And the best part is that when you play in a tournament, that stat gets transferred into your personal profile, right? So if I played in tournament A and I scored over the season 10 goals and played 12 matches, those stats will be put into your personal profile as well, right? As validation of you as a player. So it's all interconnected, and what we're trying to do is bring everybody together on this platform.
Excellent, excellent. And in terms of growth of the platform and its use, do you have any examples of where it's being used widely, and any partnerships that are ongoing at the moment?
So the unfortunate thing about now is the COVID situation, right? So football is not really being played globally. I think in Europe or in the UK, yes, right, but I'm not sure at which level is allowed. When we piloted the app, we piloted in Malaysia, where I'm from, and we had about 10,000 users in the space of 3 months without any marketing, because people just got onto the platform, they demanded it, right? But since the pandemic, and what we've done is we've taken time to kind of rebuild the app to make it more visually appealing, take it to a level where it's the security is better, because we do take personal data. So we're really looking at the safeguarding aspects and making sure our infrastructure is top notch. And we have just recently signed our first partnership with the National Football Association, the Belize FA, very small country in Central America. But this is actually the kind of FAs that we want to work with, right? Like I mentioned, the underdeveloped ones. Not as an FA, but the football is you know, like I said, where grassroots is not the priority, right? And we were in talks with the Belize FA, and that they're very forward thinking and very open as well. So what we've done is we've signed an agreement with them where they promote the use of SocaLoca in the country. We promote it as well. So we run campaigns on social media and whatnot for people to get on. The Belize FA actually uses the competition management module to run all the regional leagues. So the women's league is run. They have regions. So every region has an under-17 tournament, an under-21 tournament, and they run all their competitions using our app. And in return, what we do is we share with them as a partner insights into what's going on the ground, right? So when I was in the FA, right, people would come up to me and say, okay, how many people are actually playing grassroots football, right? And we would always just guess because we never had data. But if what Belize is doing works with us, right, I can give you exactly, you know, as of now, you know, in all the tournaments that you have running regionally, right, you have X number of players playing. And I can tell you the breakdown of these X number of players. This is male, this is female. This is their age category. This is, you know, because we collect this data. We ask the players, are you right-footed or left-footed? What's your favorite position, you know? So maybe in Belize, they'll find out everybody wants to become a defender. There's not enough strikers. So they can take this data, right, and kind of look at it and use it to make policies, right, on how to develop football. And we want to have more of these partnerships with national football associations, so that, you know, when the app is widespread on the ground, all these insights we can share back with the FA so that they can make good decisions, right, in terms of developing football. I'll give you an example. When we were piloting it in Malaysia, we had a tournament that was running in a very, very remote area, and they found out about the app. One of the guys who's organizing the competition called me and said, hey, can I use your app? I said, yeah, it's free, go ahead. And they used it. And while I was monitoring it, there was, I think, 20 teams, right, in that tournament. And the organization was good. We saw all the fixtures and everything else. And because I was from the FA, I gave the FA a call and said, hey, you know what, there's a really remote league going on. There's 20 coaches here. Why don't you go and give them some coaching? So send a coach from the National FA, go down to the ground, right? Take these 20 coaches and give them some coaching, because a better coach makes a better player, right? And these are just, you know, like community coaches, never had any formal training. So what I asked the FA was to give them what we call here a D license, right? Give them that course, right? And then you start seeing the level of football going up, right? Because previously these people were not on the radar, right? So that's where we want to go basically with them.
And it sounds like it's a really forward-thinking app, and I think it would work well in say Europe, where there are maybe underrepresented groups who are playing football, who are out of the radar of the main associations, etc. So on that, what are your future aims for SocaLoca?
So now as we're coming out of the pandemic, so what we're going to do is start marketing to all tournament organizers globally, right? To say that, you know, you're going to start your league or your competition, come on board with us and use the module, right? And the module is totally free. We don't charge, right? Anybody can register. Just go to our website, and then you can register as a tournament organizer. You get access to the tournament module, and you can create your tournament straight away. And then you invite teams and players to come on board, right? And once this gets going, right, hopefully the numbers will come, and we can start talking to, start building the ecosystem in the area, right? And then connecting people. From there, we want to get academies on board as well. So we actually have a module for academies. So academies can register as well, right? They can then invite players in their locality to come on board into the academy, and they can then track the progress of these players, right? So it's a management tool for academies as well. There's a tool for tournament organizers. We're going to build. There's a tool for clubs as well, professional clubs who want to engage with fans, right? Boa Vista is actually a partner of SocaLoca already. We're talking to a few other clubs. And like I said, we're just trying to connect all these various parts of the ecosystem so that everybody sees what's going on. And hopefully, you know, a player who might be off the radar will have the opportunity to fulfill his or her potential, right? And get spotted and get moved to the right, you know, into the right stream, and given the opportunity that he or she deserves. And that's what we want, right?
Excellent, excellent.